Wrestling fans, we explode into Christmas for the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive Cyber Fanfest. A human sea of superstar guests have come to MWF Studios for live interviews, tributes, and virtual autograph signings. The good news is, if you miss these superstar signings, we have individual autograph photos available as well as all-inclusive VIP packages throughout the season. If you want them for yourself or to give as a holiday gift for Christmas, get the order in by December the 19th. On Christmas night, we'll reveal the winner of the massive Christmas Week Mega Raffle, where one lucky fan wins an entire jackpot of prizes, again, to benefit the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. 2020 has been a brutal year for the economy, as well as our toy drive efforts. We could use any and all the help you could give us. Be part of the professional wrestling community. If you're going to take part in any toy drive this year, let it be one where we update Santa Claus's GPS and honor Paul Bearer's memory. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com now.
The mentors in the business was, actually, the number one was Piper. Piper was there when I started. And Roddy and I we partied together. I rode with him all the time, and he would wise me up to things, that I was kind of blind to, A lot of the boys back then used to look down on second generation guys. They would think, well, this guy is second generation, he wants everything handed to him on a silver platter, He's going to be taken care of. He's not going to have to go out and do jobs and pay the price. Pay his dues. And I was never like that. I didn't care if I won or lost. I just wanted that experience. But there was a lot of guys, older guys, that really were, there wasn't any way of getting close to them because they I don't know if it was a jealousy thing. They just figured, well, he's got an advantage that I didn't have, There was a lot of problems like that. But, you worked through them. But Piper smarted me up to who was wanting to mess with me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like the Adrian Adonis, he had a problem with me.
What was the issue?
What was the issue with Adonis?
Well, Adonis, there was one time when I was real young in the business, and Adonis had this reputation of being a shooter, and I guess in Texas he had done this thing where he challenged people and to come in the ring and last with them or something, and he was kind of a tough guy for his time, but he was nothing, nothing outstanding. But there was one night in Eugene, Oregon, where Dutch Savage, him and my dad had problems, and he pulled Adonis aside, and he wanted Adonis to mess with me, would hurt me in the ring, take him down, beat him up. And so Adonis, went out there and had the match, and he tried to shoot on me, Well, it didn't work, He couldn't beat me,
Did he have an amateur background like you did?
He had an amateur background, but he wasn't the he didn't have the amateur background that I had, And I was pretty still fresh. I was 20, 21 years old. So I still had my knees, and all my vertebrae were young, and my disc in my back. I could go, And it just didn't work for him. And I found out later from Adrian that Dutch Savage wanted him to go out there and beat me up.
Really?
Yeah. And it happened. But at the time, I was thinking, what's he doing? And I'm trying to learn how to work, and this guy's actually shooting with me, trying to take me down, which actually just put me right back into amateur mode. Yeah, I was quick on my feet, for a 205 pounder, and
Wow.
At that time, I'm 190 now, but no, but it just was. I went right back to that natural instinct of shoot, and it just didn't work for him. But I didn't hurt. I never knew how to hurt anybody at that time. I learned that later.
After that initial incident where he tried to stretch or shoot on you, whatever it might be, after that, did you guys get along, or was it still kind of a little tension?
There was always a little bit of problem with Adrian. I think he, and he had more experience than me. And then later on, when he was in the WWF, And then I was in WWF in '85. We hung around the same people, Morocco, Piper, and he was always he would always look for his little digs, but
Really?
you know, yeah, but nothing really to speak of.
Now, you were tight with the young Roddy Piper, probably right around the same age as you, but he had kind of a tough life when he was growing up.
Well,
and transitioned into the world of wrestling. What was a young Hot Rod Roddy Piper like?
well, we're actually not the same age. I think he's got me about 5 years.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
But he had so much experience, and he was such a natural, so wise. And in my eyes, at the time, he was the best in the business. And Roddy had given me this spiral notebook at one time. And you know what? In all my moves, I lost it. But inside this spiral notebook was he had for years and years and years from when he started in the business. All these lines, and he told me he would just be watching TV, and he'd hear something on TV, and he'd write it down. And that's what made him the stick man that he became. And he gave me this spiral notebook in 1979. And I mean, this thing was full. And it was such an honor for me, you know, and we were close. You know, I mean, since then, I haven't talked to Roddy in quite a while, but, you know, Roddy and I were really close and good friends and like brothers. But for him to give me that, you know, looking back in retrospect, you know, if I was to give somebody like that, I would have to feel something, you know, like
Absolutely.
for this person to hand that over to him. But, you know, and then many years later, he brought that up to me because he knew I didn't have it anymore for some reason. And he kind of let me know that, you know, it was messed up, you know, I didn't have it and take advantage of it like I should have. But, and I said to Roddy, you know, I'm 4 wives, 22 moves, you know, things get lost, you know. But, it's all good.
How did you see him change over the years? Was he as wild back then as he was when he went on to WWF or WWE?
Was he as wild? Roddy Piper was, he was about as wild as they came. Yeah, and he was so unpredictable. But he was so good at what he was. And what he did, he was the best stick man in the business. And then, as I see him now, and the progression of his disease and his problems, as many of us had, how they took over and deteriorated what they really had, you know, that gift. Actually, it's kind of sad. Roddy still has got it, but, you know, I think anything you do into excess in this life will take you over. Well, it'll kill you, and it'll take everything away from you that's, you know, worth anything, you know, that's an asset.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.